George Strait lifestyle and net worth. George Strait is an American country music singer, music producer, and actor, celebrated as the king of country. George Strait is considered one of the most popular recording artists of all time. Unlike many of his contemporaries, Strait made sure to stick to the traditional elements of country music and inspired others to move away from the pop-infused sounds that became popular during the 80s. Strait is one of the best-selling artists of all time, having sold more than 120 million records worldwide. Of all his albums, 13 have reached multi-platinum status, including the 8-time platinum Pure Country, while 33 have achieved platinum status. Overall, Strait is the 12th best-selling artist in U.S. history. In the 2000s, he was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. George Strait is estimated to have a net worth of $330 million. His wealth comes from his many successful albums and singles as country music royalty, as well as his various real estate investments and endorsements. Early life and education. George Harvey Strait was born on May 18, 1952, in Poteet, Texas. Raised alongside two siblings on a 2,000-acre cattle ranch owned by his father in Pearsall, George was working with animals and doing farmhand work from a very early age. When he was in grade 4, his parents divorced. Strait first became interested in music during his high school days and joined a rock and roll band with other students. Although he was initially drawn in by bands like the Beatles, he quickly fell in love with country artists such as Hank Thompson, Lefty Frizzell, and Merle Haggard. He regularly attended live performances by country artists across Texas. After graduating high school, he enlisted in the Army and was stationed in Hawaii. Once there, he joined an Army-sanctioned country band and welcomed his first child into the world with his wife, Norma. He spent a total of 4 years in the Army and reached the rank of corporal. After his honorable discharge, he pursued post-secondary education at Southwest Texas State University, eventually graduating with a degree in agriculture. Personal life and real estate. Strait married his high school sweetheart Norma in 1971. Together, they had 2 children. Their daughter was killed in a car accident in 1986, prompting George to start the Jennifer Lynn Strait Foundation, a children's charity. George became a grandfather in February 2012 when George Strait Jr. and his wife, Tamara, had a son. In 2018, George listed his Hilltop, Texas estate for $10 million before reducing it to $8.9 million in 2019. He slashed the asking price again in January 2021 to $7.5 million and then to $6.9 million that October. It was reported as being sold in December 2021. He owns several other properties in the Lone Star State, including a ranch in Pearsall, Texas, that has been in the family for more than 100 years. Car collection. Over the years, the singer has owned a few classic and luxury car brands. Some of the iconic cars George Strait has owned include Bentley Continental GTC, Guerrilla luxury golf car, early 2000s Chevy Silverado 1500 single cab LT, 2015 Chevy Silverado 1500, 2017 Ford F-150, and 1959 Cadillac Eldorado Biarritz. Brand endorsements. George is a spokesperson for Wrangler Jeans, partnering with them to raise awareness for their National Patriot Program. The initiative aims to raise money for American veterans and their families, focusing on the fallen or those who have been wounded in action. Strait has also partnered with Justin Boots, Resistal, a brand that makes cowboy hats, Guerrilla, a Danish manufacturer of luxury golf cars, and Código Tequila, professional career. While in college, Strait joined a band called Stony Ridge, eventually becoming the lead and renaming the group the Ace in the whole band. They quickly gained a following in Texas and began opening for high-profile artists such as the Texas Playboys during live performances. Eventually, they were given the opportunity to record several singles. However, the group never really took off, and George earned a living by working on his family's ranch. He was very close to quitting after being rejected by every major record label he approached, but his wife convinced him to stick with it. In 1981, he was finally offered a recording contract by MCA. That year, he released his first single, Unwound. It proved to be a massive hit, climbing to number 6 on the country charts and prompting George to release a debut album called Straight Country. The album was impactful for many reasons, primarily because it proved that traditional country sounds could still be popular in a modern era. Previously, the genre was shifting heavily towards pop music. In 1982, George followed up with a second album called Straight from the Heart, which featured his first #1 single, Fool-Hearted Memory. During this period, he started to perform at live shows for the first time. Following the tragic death of his 13-year-old daughter, Strait severed ties with the media and stopped doing interviews, although he continued to crank out numerous hits. He finished the 80s with a number of well-received albums before branching out with different sounds in the critically acclaimed 1990 album, Livin' It Up. After releasing the album Holding My Own, he starred in the box office bomb Pure Country. While the film was a failure, the soundtrack, which Strait released, proved to be his most commercially successful album of all time. After releasing many more high-performing albums, Strait founded the George Strait Country Music Festival in 1997. The festival would repeat for the next 4 years, and George performed alongside some of the biggest names in country music. During this period, he released the album Always Never the Same in 1999. The year 2000 marked a bit of a decline for Strait, as his self-titled album did not reach platinum status. Over the next few years, George would continue to release fairly successful albums with his tried-and-true country music formula. By 2009, Strait broke Conway Twitty's record, 40, for most #1 hits on the Billboard Hot Country Songs chart. Today, George has amassed 60 #1 hits, the most on all charts by an artist in any genre of music. In 2010, Billboard ranked Strait the top country artist of the past 25 years. In 2013, Billboard presented George with its Legend of Live honor for the concert industry's top artist based on their box score chart and box office performance. In 2012, Strait announced his final tour, the Cowboy Rides Away Tour. The final show at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, drew 104,793 people, setting a new record for the largest indoor concert in North America. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Bless up.